We are living through a moment in history that feels heavy. It's in the air. You feel it when you open your phone. You feel it when you're driving to work. You feel it when you look at your kids and wonder what kind of world they will inherit. It's not just for entrepreneurs or people watching the stock market or those building a business. It's also for the corporate employees sitting in back to back meetings wondering if their job is next. It's the parent watching the news, the student scrolling in silence, the person trying to stay focused, trying to be okay, but feeling that tightness in their chest that says, this is not normal. So if that's you, if your nervous system is on edge and you're holding your breath more than you realize, I want you to hear me when I say this. You're not alone. And what you're feeling makes sense. You're a human in a world that feels chaotic, unpredictable, and at times terrifying. And I say this from experience. I was born and raised in Colombia, a beautiful, vibrant country with the most generous and happy people. But I was 19 years old during the Pablo Escobar era, a time that, while it might now be portrayed on streaming platforms as entertainment, was anything but entertaining for those of us who live it. We live in fear. There were bombings, curfews, the kind of tension you could feel in your bones. I remember walking outside and scanning everything, bags on the ground, cars parked too long, unfamiliar faces. I remember the heaviness, the kind that doesn't just pass through, it settles in. And I think about that time a lot because back then I didn't have the tools I have now. I didn't know how to process fear. I didn't know what to do with anxiety. I just carry it. And if I knew then what I know now, I would have given myself more grace, more stillness. And that's what I want to give you today. If the world feels heavy for you right now, here are three things I want you to practice. Not as some quick fix, not as performance, but as a way to anchor yourself when everything around you feels like it's moving too fast. Welcome to At What Point, the podcast where we dive into the real, raw, and rewarding journey of personal and professional growth. I'm Catherine, your host, here to guide you through mindset shifts, powerful aha moments, and the resilience it takes to thrive no matter what life throws your way. Whether you're climbing the corporate ladder, taking the leap into entrepreneurship, or just looking for that boost of motivation, you are in the right place. Let's dive in. So, the first thing I want you to practice is breathe like you mean it. I know it sounds basic, but most of us are walking around with shallow breath, tense shoulders, and clenched jaws without even realizing it. We are living in survival mode, racing from one thing to the next, carrying the news in our pockets, the stress in our chest, and the fear in our bodies. One of the most powerful ways to regulate your nervous system is to pause and do nothing but breathe deeply for 60 seconds. In through your nose, hold, and out through your mouth like you are blowing out your birthday candle. Because here's what happens when you do that: your heart rate slows down, your body feels safer, and your brain gets a moment to catch up and remember, I'm okay, I'm here, I'm safe. You don't need a fancy app. You don't need to sit on a mountain. You don't need the perfect playlist or a 5 day retreat. You just need to remember that your breath is your anchor and you can return to it anytime, especially when the world starts spinning. And if you forget, that's okay. Just come back again and again. And here's the thing: that one breath might not change the world, but it will change you right in that moment. And once you have grounded yourself, once you have given your body a chance to feel safe again, the next step is protecting that peace. Because calm doesn't last if you keep letting chaos back in. And that's where the second practice comes in. You have got to put boundaries around what's entering your mind. And this one's big because the truth is, anxiety doesn't just come from what's happening, it also comes from what you are consuming. And right now, most of us are drowning in input, news alerts, videos, social posts, group chats, endless updates about everything falling apart. And listen, I get it. We want to stay informed, we want to care. But there is a big difference between being informed and being overexposed. When your nervous system is already overwhelmed and you start your morning with 17 headlines and a Twitter thread about disaster, you're flooding your mind before your feet even hit the ground. That's not strength, that's overload. So I want you to think about your mind like your home. Let me ask you this. Will you let just anyone walk in, drop their garbage, and make a mess of your living room? Of course not. But that's what we do when we give unrestricted access to everything and everyone all day long. Friend, you got to close the door. You are allowed to check the news once a day. You are allowed to mute people who are constantly spiraling. You are allowed to log off without guilt. And on the flip side, you are also allowed to fill your space with peace on purpose. Start your day with music or a voice that uplifts you or silence. Yes, silence counts. Spend 10 minutes journaling what's real for you, not just what's trending. Listen to something that brings you back to hope, to purpose, to yourself. That is not being avoidant. That is being protective of your mental health. Because when the world gets loud, you need to protect your inner volume. And no one else can do that for you. Finally, the third practice I want you to hold on when fear feels loud and the world feels shaky is stay connected to something that grounds you. That might be your faith, it might be journaling, it might be calling a friend, it might be showing up for your work because it gives you purpose. When the world feels dark, you need light. And that light doesn't always come from the outside. It has to come from within. You have to feed it. You have to protect it. You have to make a space for peace, even when chaos is knocking at your door. And I want you to know none of this is about pretending things are okay when they are not. It's about creating a space within you that is not constantly at war with everything outside you. I wish I had these tools at 19, but I have them now. And so do you. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your chest. You don't have to be on all the time. You don't have to stay in survival mode forever. I want you to remember that there is no trophy for suffering in silence. And peace is not something the world hands you, it's something you choose to create moment by moment. So let me ask you this. At what point do we stop pretending we are fine and start honoring what we actually feel? At what point do we stop waiting for the world to calm down and start learning how to find calm inside ourselves? Maybe that point is right now. And maybe it starts with one breath. You got this, friend. Thanks for joining another episode of At What Point. I hope today's conversation sparked some inspiration for your journey of growth and transformation. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to visit katherinebeltran.com/podcast for show notes, special discounts on coaching packages, and freebies to help you keep moving forward. And last but not least, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a show. See you next time.